hope you're doing alright. If you watched my last video, you might remember me saying that I had an upcoming video where I was doing something that's a bit out of my comfort zone and not my usual thing. Well, this is that build. I was stuck for ideas a few weeks ago and I was looking at maybe building something from real life. I think I googled mid-century home or Palm Springs home. I think I just watched a Lil Simsy video and she said something about a Palm Springs inspired build. So I googled Palm Springs home and this is what came up in the search results. There was an article about Walt Disney's home going on the market, and then I found some more articles about how it was a Technicolor dream house and the interior was just like really colourful, and there were like plenty of photos of it. It went up for sale and like sold for like $1.2 million or whatever, and that's why there was like an article about it. I had a look at some images on Zillow, which if you don't know, it's a real estate app, and I wondered if I could like recreate it in The Sims. So yeah, that's what I did. It's not my sort of style really. I'm not particularly a big like Disney fan either. It's not really anything to do with Disney or Walt Disney himself in a way, and you might see that if you download it on the gallery. There's like a hidden secret in the build, but he just lived there for a bit and I looked at the house and thought, yeah, I'll build that. So yeah, the photos I found, in my opinion, look like worse than what they do in The Sims, but it was fun to build, and it uses items, I'm pretty sure it's just base game and from Get Famous. I built it in Del Sol Valley, but I think I'm probably going to move it to somewhere else in the world. Not that there's much choice where to move it, but I think I'll move it to that other residential area just because it doesn't really match the style of this like little bit of the neighborhood. There's more like rundown area. It's more like a starting area, and the other area I don't remember the name of. It's like the established celebrity area. But yeah, I've only just got Get Famous. Well, I got it just before Christmas, and yeah, I like the build and buy items and the cast stuff, but the world itself is so, like lackluster. I know the pack is like old now, but I just think they could have done a bit more with it, like, Get Famous and the like celebrity thing. But yeah, it's The Sims 4 in it, so they can always do more with it. And speaking of lackluster packs, or packs in general, how are we feeling about the new stuff pack? At first I was a bit like indifferent towards it, like yeah, whatever. I'm not massively into supernatural or occult stuff, but I know there's lots of Sims players that are, and after I saw a few teasers for it, I did see quite a lot of negative comments, like on Instagram, and it was basically like, who asked for this? What about improving babies? Where's the farm pack? What about improving personalities? Like, all valid comments and concerns, but personally I would just like, yeah, whatever. I don't know if this is for me. I'll like see what the build and buy stuff's like, and then if there's nothing that stands out to me, I'm not bothered about it. But then they dropped the trailer and I was quite surprised actually. Like, I don't really care about the new career. Like I said, like supernatural and ghost and occult stuff, it's not really my sort of thing. But the build and buy stuff, I think it looks quite nice. It's not something that I've really seen like in The Sims 4 before. It does kind of remind me of, is it movie hangout stuff? It's got like a similar like look to that. I'm lost for words, like what's it called, that kind of style. But yeah, I thought it looks alright. And then of course Bonehild is returning, and as soon as I saw her walking back like in the background, I was like, what? Like, I was so excited and like happy, but then that excitement kind of like fizzled out. I watched Pleasant Sim do a video about how like Bonehild returning is probably not going to be what we want it to be, and yeah, that video is kind of centered around like a tweet that one of the, I think it was Sims Guru Connor, posted. You should watch the video. Like, I'm not obviously doing a good job of explaining it, but yeah, I watched that and I was just like, oh well, it seems like she's just going to be a shell of what she actually is. But I guess we'll have to see. We can't really know until we play the pack, I suppose. I'm still going to get it probably, so I can form my own opinion, and maybe Bonehilda will be everything that like we want her to be. But I'm really skeptical, like a lot of people are at this point. So yeah, the build, it's not exactly like the one in real life. It's quite a bit smaller, I think. I was struggling to find pictures of all the rooms, and quite a lot of the rooms in the house were like just bedrooms, and I didn't want to just make like loads and loads of bedrooms. So I did cut a bit out, and there was this one bedroom that were basically just like a browny beige, like it was like the walls like actually looked like seeded bread or something, like they look a textured brown colour. You better stop! And for a house that's described as a Technicolor dream house, I thought, why is there a brown room then? There were like accents of like blue and red, I think, or orange in there, and then there was just this like small TV in the corner that looked like it was like a hospital TV or something. So yeah, I just cut that one out. But now I'm sort of thinking I wish I'd have put that in, because I could have converted that into like a skill building room. There isn't that many skill building objects in this build, just because, you know, there wasn't any in the real life version. But yeah, you could always change one of the bedrooms if you wanted to, or renovate the entire thing if you wanted. I think the next time I play, I might even renovate it myself. But yeah, I might do that, upload that renovated version to the gallery. And if you do want to renovate it, go ahead. Just please use the hashtag SimTouch, and then I can see if anyone does renovate it. Yeah, I think I'd definitely change the exterior. As you can see, the landscaping is a bit like, I don't know, it just seems a bit weird to me. Just like random plants chucked about and some like gravel, and like, yeah, I just think it could look a bit better if it were a bit more green, less gravel. I think I'd probably just tidy it up, maybe have some cactus and like succulent beds. But yeah, I had a bunch of ideas for the next build that I want to do, but I've been feeling a bit, I don't know, like a bit burnt out lately. Like I've no energy for anything, and then that affects like my creativity, and I struggle to come up with ideas, or I lose interest in the ideas that I had. So yeah, that's a brilliant start in it, like 4 videos in and I'm already burnt out and run out of ideas. But it's more the fact that I've like got no motivation to really do anything. I think it's just that time of year, like everybody's just kind of done with this whole sort of situation, and I think everybody's getting, or at least past that point where we're just sort of tired and, you know, not coping as well as, you know, we want to be. But I've been ill as well. I was ill for like 2 weeks, pretty much as soon as I posted that my last video. Within a couple of days I started to feel a bit like worn out and a bit ill. But I'm getting there, and I'm already feeling like I've got like 74 light bulbs going off. Every idea that pops into my head, it's just like constant, like, oh, what if I do this? And then now I've got to contend with picking which idea I want to do more. But yeah, I think the next thing I want to do is like a cabin, or maybe a cottage, or something like that. Something a bit different, because the last few builds I've done are quite modern looking, and I do like modern exteriors and modern like contemporary sort of builds, and I do enjoy building them, but I also really like the sort of rustic sort of cottagecore vibes, and I do like industrial sort of stuff. And yeah, I want to play around with something in those styles. So yeah, either a cabin or a cottage. And then I still want to do something with like Snowy Escape, and I've not got around to building anything with that yet. So maybe I'll do maybe a cabin that's that, using those items. I'm not sure yet, but yeah. And then obviously there's the new pack coming out. With it being a stuff pack, there's, you know, a limited sort of things, limited number of things I can really do with it, but we'll just have to see what not limited, but you know what I mean, like it's a stuff pack, there's only so much we're going to get with it. But yeah, it's just about sitting down, building, recording, and yeah, let me know as well what you think to the audio. I think it was okay in the last video, definitely better than the video before it. Like, wow, that was bad. But yeah, I think I just need to increase my volume and just figure out how I go about doing that without making it sound grainy, because if I increase the volume too much, it can sound a bit like, I don't know, a bit distorted, and then I've got to mess about editing the sound, which, you know, I will obviously do that if it needs doing. It's just figuring out how to do it. So obviously I've done the landscaping around the front, and I don't think it looks too bad. It's not that far off the pictures anyway that I saw from the real life version. I like those trees, those like round, I'm not really sure what they're called. I think in game they're called like lollipop trees or something like that. Yeah, I've never used them before, so yeah, they were in the real life version. But yeah, that's what I like about when you use like base game and one pack, or just base game on its own, because it just allows you to make use of items that you might normally not use because there's like alternatives, or you don't get around to using them. And it has given me a bit of a new perspective of like base game, because I've obviously been fortunate enough to get packs, and I realise not everybody can, or they might not want to, and it's made me realise that like the base game does need a huge update, not just small tweaks here and there, but for the type of game that The Sims is, and for how long the game is out for. Like when The Sims was released, the furniture that people were putting in their house 6 years ago, and the style and the trends that were about then are obviously different to what we do now. So yeah, I think it just needs updating, and like massively, like a massive update, I think they really ought to do. And it could help like increase the longevity of the game as a whole. Like obviously it's been 6 years and people have been asking for improvements since like day one, and we've got some but then not others. So yeah, there's a lot of like simple changes that I think they could do to incorporate, you know, more modern things. And by modern I mean like up to date sort of trends, and get rid of some of the like those counters, for example, that are those base game counters where they've got like a blue swatch and a purple swatch and an orange swatch. It's like that weren't even on trend in, I don't know how many years ago, 6 years ago, what year were it? But like, you know what I mean? Like nobody has pink counters that are that, like magenta counters. I mean, you know, obviously some people do, but it's not like common. I think especially when modders are able to make like a lot of changes to the game. I'm not just talking about like aesthetics of the items and stuff, like the actual gameplay features, like how long did it take for toddlers and pools, and you know, the skin tone update was like way too late in the game, like that should have been from day one. But yeah, I just think if modders can do these sort of things, then the Sims team should be able to really. But yeah, speaking of mods, oh my god, MC Command Center is a literal like game changer. I don't understand how I've gone playing it with not even having it. I never used to use mods in like other Sims games. I used CC like back in the day when I played Sims 2. I used to get like the odd hair and outfits and like t-shirts and stuff, but I don't think I really fully knew how to install them, so sometimes they would work and sometimes they wouldn't. But yeah, playing on console and moving to PC has allowed me to like get CC and get mods and whatever. I've only got the I don't have much CC. Like I have eyelashes CC, but I don't have anything else. And then I've got MC Command Center now. But I think I want to get some like glasses, because I think the ones in game, they're just a bit, I don't know, there's only a few styles that are like that come with the game that I like across all the packs, and I just think every single sim that I put glasses on, I don't want them all wearing the same glasses. I want to get some kind of ones that look like mine, maybe even that, because there isn't any in the game, and I have quite basic looking glasses. But yeah, like those round oval ones, like why are they in, and they've not updated it where there's like more or added like different styles. But yeah, I might get some CC glasses, but Other than that, I don't use anything else. So I got MC Command Center because I wanted to change the weather and the time for when I take screenshots for my videos, and I don't think I'll ever play without it. It like just completely makes the game, not completely, I mean it is a story progression mod, but like it just makes it, I don't know, like easier. There's things that I can tweak without having to mess about, like relationships in the game. If I want to make Sims, like, I don't know, for example, I've made my own family in The Sims, but I want to make them like authentically. So like two parents, they have the kids, and then, you know, build the relationships up that way. I don't have to play for, you know, hours to get those relationships and to get those pregnancies that I want and mess about. I can just make sure that the Sims have a male child or a female child or whatever. Yeah, it's just great. It did take some fiddling about with it when I first got it. I think it was just because I didn't read the instructions. So when I first like started, there were like random townies moving into empty lots, and other Sims were like having kids and stuff where I've not told them to. And I don't play like that. I play where I'm like sort of in control of everything, so I decide who has kids and when. I've never really played The Sims where I allow it to kind of play on its own, and I just like play one household or whatever. I like to. I think it's called rotational gameplay. Yeah, I think so. But either way, yeah, I like to play each family and then make them have a kid and then move on to the next one and make the kids kind of grow up together and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, with like the default settings for MC Command Center, I was just like, why are my Sims, random homeless Sims, moving into empty lots? I was getting a bit frustrated with it, and then I realised after a quick like Google search that's what it was. Because obviously there's a setting in the gameplay options on Sims where you can make it so that townies fill empty lots and everybody ages up and on their own. But I don't like that sort of gameplay. I like to kind of decide what happens. But yeah, that's just my fault. You know, no fault of the mod. It's just me not reading instructions. Like, I don't really do that with anything. But yeah, so simple to use. But yeah, I know quite a lot of people use it. I'm talking about it like I've just discovered it for the first time and I'm like the first person to use it. Obviously, it's like a really common mod that people use. But yeah, I just think like, wow, how have I not been playing this the whole time? Like, it's made such a difference. And that's what I mean about like, if modders can do this sort of thing, look how much of an impact it can have on your game. But EA just are like, no, we're not updating these things because we don't do that for free, sorry. But yeah, I've been watching quite a few videos on like mods lately, and there's so many that improve gameplay and like fix certain issues within packs, like the issues with like dine out and get to work. But I think like that just shows what the game can be. But unfortunately that's not what it is without like additional help. But I know the Sims team worked really hard on the game, but I think sometimes, or maybe most of the time for some players, it feels a little bit like The Sims 4 is like a stripped back version. So it's like, oh, this is just Sims 1 but remastered and with more life stages. That's just how I feel about it sometimes anyway. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still love the game. I just want it to be the best it can be, I suppose. And I recognise that a lot of Sims players want that as well. So yeah, anyway, back to the build. I'm on with like interior now, and it's already looking a bit wild in terms of like colour scheme. I went for that like black swatch on the bed, but looking at the real life images, I probably ought to have gone with like a white swatch. I think there's a white swatch of that bed. I might even change that, and we'll see actually. We'll see if I have changed it, because yeah, you'll see in the screenshots at the end. But yeah, I'm not sure what made me go with that black swatch. It looks so like off. Like looking at the gameplay now, that all the speed build as it's playing back, I'm just like, why did I do that? I think it's because the bed frame in the like real life version is black, and for some reason I wanted that. Obviously I've cut out the footage of the bathroom, and you've probably seen that it's quite gold and very extravagant and a bit over the top. It was quite over the top in real life. It was like gold and white and just kind of like crazy looking. I think it only took me about 20 minutes to decide on which wall lights to use in that bathroom. Yeah, and then I did like that outdoor bin area, because I like to pretend that different coloured bins are like recycling. In the UK, I know I say in the UK, like loads of countries have wheelie bins, but we have like coloured like wheelie bins, so they're like you have like a blue one, a brown one, a green one, and a grey or whatever for like cardboard and your plastic bottles and general stuff. So obviously Sims just put it all in one bin, but I like to pretend that they're not. I like to pretend that they're recycling. Um, and though saying that, I wonder if you can actually do that in eco lifestyle or eco living, whatever it's called. I'm assuming you can, because like yeah, that's the pack, isn't it? It's like recycling and living eco-friendly sort of thing. I've not got that pack, and I've not really seen that much about it. The only videos I've like watched about eco lifestyle are like people intentionally trying to pollute the world and the environment, and like rags to riches videos where they're trying to get rich off making selling candles and stuff. It's just not a part that interests me, to be honest. I'm all for like the planet and doing what we can to look after the planet and to reduce waste and all that kind of stuff. But I think it was Plumbella that said it's basically the gentrification pack, and yeah, I'm not about that. When she was saying like, oh, it looks just like Middlesbrough and all that. Obviously I'm from Yorkshire. I'm not from Middlesbrough, but where I live, the village that I live, that's the world that eco lifestyle is. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, even down to like the rats running around. So yeah, I don't like this idea where it's like, yeah, run into this rundown area and just like do it up and all that kind of stuff. It's like, or you could just redistribute wealth to those areas, but instead of making it the responsibility of the people that live there. But yeah, I'm not going to get onto that. But yeah, even if it wasn't like doing up what looks like a rundown area or an area that's kind of lower income or more like an impoverished area, I don't know, it just doesn't look like it's fun to play at all. It just doesn't appeal to me either way. Snowy Escape, that, however, looking at that pack, I wouldn't have thought that would appeal to me, but just the look of the world and the stuff that you get with it, like the build and buy stuff and cast items and all that stuff. And yeah, even talking about it just makes me want to like jump on now and go for a hike or climb the mountain. Yeah, I've not been playing The Sims actually for a couple of weeks. Obviously, I've said that I've been ill, and yeah, Stardew Valley did take over for a bit, but I've not even played that for a while. But yeah, without getting like too graphic, I do suffer with IBS, and I've done like since I was a baby. But I have it where like I can't go, and yeah, so for like 2 weeks I've had like a really bad flare up where I was like crying for my mum, and like I phoned my partner while they were at work, and I'm like, please come home, help me. I'm like, I don't feel right, something's wrong with me, because it was just like really really bad. And my partner phoned my brother. My brother like was like, I don't know what to do, because he's only like young and that. And he's like, I don't know what to do. So he phoned my mum. I didn't phone her straight away because I thought she was at work. So she like phoned me, and she's like, what's the matter? What's the matter? I'm like, I don't know, something's wrong with me. And she's like, what are your symptoms? I'm like, well, I'm sweating, I feel red hot, I'm shaking, and I can't breathe. And she's like, you can't breathe? Why? Why can't you breathe? And I'm like, I think it's just like my stomach and that, I've got stomach pains. And she's like, all right. So she like came to check my temperature. We're in a bubble, by the way. So in like the UK, our like lockdown rules, quarantine rules, whatever, are that single adult households can join with another household as like a support bubble. And we're also in a like childcare bubble because I have to like watch my youngest brother. Anyway, so yeah, she came round, gave me painkillers, and she made me a cup of tea, and she was just like, yeah, I think you'll be okay. It just seems like it's your IBS. And I'm like, yeah, I think it is. And I'm like, look, I looked absolutely awful. I looked grey. I looked really bad. And that went on for 2 weeks, where I was just absolutely exhausted. Just felt rough, like it were really rough. And it doesn't help either that I've not been eating properly. I'm not diagnosed with ADHD, but I'm waiting on like an assessment for it. I do tend to like hyper focus, which is where you get like really engrossed in something to the point where you can like neglect yourself. So I'll be that into doing something that I'll forget to eat properly, or I'll not eat at all. I'll not go to the toilet. I'll not even drink water. So yeah, all those things combined obviously don't help. So yeah, it is to an extent self-inflicted, but you know, what can you do? If my brain doesn't tell me loud enough to like get off my ass and do something, then I just don't do it. I do like set alarms and stuff to remind myself, but sometimes I'll just like dismiss the alarm and be like, oh, it's annoying me, turn it off. So I think I need to try and find a better way to like do that, because obviously that's not healthy and you shouldn't like live like that. And you know, a lot of it is not my fault. I can't help it. I can't help having digestion problems or like gut problems. I can't help that, and I can't help if it is because of ADHD, but we'll just have to see in that regard. But yeah, the build, these blinds, oh my god, I don't know where I've seen these blinds or what pack I've seen them from. There's these blinds that I've seen and I wanted to use them in this pack. For some reason I thought they were base game, but I think they're from My First Pet stuff, because I was looking through, which I've never had My First Pet stuff, but I was looking through the gallery, not the gallery, Origin the other day. I was looking on the stuff packs because I thought I have seen these, like they're like shutter blinds or roller blinds that look similar to them ones, the orange ones that I use, but they're just slightly different. They look a bit nicer, and I think they come in obviously like nicer swatches. But I was so convinced that they were part of a pack that I already owned, but no. So yeah, I was looking for them. You'll see as well that on one of the settees or sofas in the like living part of the build, I've tried to make like cushions. That couch will be like unusable if you don't delete the chairs if you download this build. But I just wanted to make red cushions on it. I need to figure out a way to like get cushions on settees and make it usable. I also end up swapping round this bathroom that's on screen now with this like orange room. I couldn't really work out the layout of the build or like the floor plan, so I end up swapping them round in a second. But yeah, I couldn't really figure out the floor plan or like the layout or anything like that, so I kind of had to guess through the pictures. And you know, when you're like looking at a picture and you're like, oh, what does that corridor lead to? And I'm like looking at the back of the pictures and trying to figure out where things are. So obviously it's not going to be exact to what it's like in the real life version. But But it doesn't really matter, I suppose. It's still playable, and I tried to make it make sense in The Sims. Where this bathroom is now, I don't think it does make sense, like being all the way back here. There's also another bedroom where in the original I think it's a room that's red. It's like red and black. In the original it's like in the real life version it's like a double bed, but I'd run out of space, and I was sort of thinking, why do they have so many bedrooms where it's like a double bed? I wanted to make it a little bit more suited to like children, like a kid using it, because it is like colourful and a big home. And yeah, there it is where I've swapped the bedroom and the bathroom around. I don't normally record myself building bathrooms. I don't know why I kept that footage in. I think it was just to show that I swapped them round to make it make a bit more sense in terms of the layout of the house and the floor plan and all that kind of thing. And yeah, this is the room. Yeah, it's blue, black and red, I think. In the real life version it's a lot bigger, and it's like got a double bed, and I think it has a bathroom extended on it somewhere. But yeah, like I said earlier, there is like a little secret in this build, and you might need to download it to see what that is. I might include a screenshot of it. I mean, if you go onto the gallery and look at it, you'll see it. But to really like appreciate it, you might have to download it and have a look at it and see what you think. It's just like a joke thing that I did. It's not like mega serious. Yeah, it's just a little nod to the owner of the house, or the previous owner of the house in real life. But you might get a little sneak peek of it in the screenshots. So yeah, please let me know in the comments what you think of the build, and what you think of me doing like a log cabin maybe, or a cottage. As always, screenshots are at the end. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you later. Bye!